The audience wants to know what's up with the Department of Education classifying nursing not as a professional degree. Basically, what happened is the Department of Education, or whatever's left of the Department of Education, they recategorize nursing programs. It puts them in a different category. What's the cap on federal student loans that nursing students are eligible to take? I don't know if you've even been to the Department of Education website. It's like Instagram, basically.
Yeah.
It is like some petty 16-year-old. They believe if they put a cap on nursing degrees, that will force nursing schools to decrease their tuition.
I'm going to say that I've never seen colleges actually decrease anything, much less tuition. So if I go to the same college, you're saying that I will have lower tuition than the engineering student, than the art history major, than the underwater basket weaving student. Is that what they're trying to say?
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Docs Outside the Box. I'm Dr. Nee, here with the incomparable Dr. Renee. And today we've got a full plate for you. We're going to be talking about a lot today, Dr. Renee. First, we're going to be jumping into this quick conversation about the Department of Education classifying nursing not as a professional degree and why that's important for upcoming nurses or upcoming future nurses. Then we're going to switch gears. You know me, I like music, particularly hip-hop music. 2024, 2025 has been an amazing year for really good rap music, if you know what I mean. Great rappers. So we're going to talk about Wale dropping his new album. And then we're going to talk about a personal update. As you all know, we talk about us as doctors, us as locum physicians. But also we talk about, some of the financial decisions that we make. And we have a tenant upstairs. So we're going to give you guys a little bit of a update of what's going on with the renovations and some of the tax implications with having a tenant upstairs. Then we're going to talk about HSA accounts. And we got another listener question. It's how do I know if I'm ready for locums? That is a lot. And that's what I'm telling you, we need to get into this.
That's a good question. Okay.
All right, you ready to get into this?
Let's rock. All
right, let's go.
I'm at my mother's house today.
Yeah, I could tell by the background, yeah. But listen, the audience wants to know what's up with the Department of Education classifying nursing not as a professional degree. I don't know about you.
I think that took a lot of people by surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of people. Well, possibly. It didn't take me by surprise because I know what, quote unquote, they're trying to do. But basically what happened is the Department of Education, or whatever's left of the Department of Education, they recategorize nursing programs in certain contexts. The most important part is that they're saying that it's not a professional degree. For whatever reason they're saying it's not a professional degree, the ultimate endpoint is it decreases, it puts them in a different category as to how many loans, what's the cap on federal student loans that nursing students are eligible to take, right? So in essence
question. Yeah. So are they talking about just a Bachelor of Nursing, or are they talking about NP, CRNA, Doctorate of Nursing?
Right.
What does this entail?
Bachelor's, anything that is getting you a college degree, right? Anything that's related to something that they consider anything that's getting you to graduate to a graduate degree, right? So getting you to a bachelor's and below is under this rule.
So LPN.
Right. Even RN, right? Because you're getting a bachelor's,
LPN,
right?
RN. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Now, if you're trying to get an advanced degree, then you are considered a professional.
So NP, CRNA.
The whole reason that they're saying this, according to their website, I don't know if you've even been to the Department of Education website. It is like a social media. It's like Instagram, basically. Like you know how like when you are on a government website, you don't expect much at all. Like it is like some petty 16-year-old, like, first of all, second of all, third of all, like in that lingo. But the gist of it is they believe that if they put a cap on nursing degrees in terms of how many student loans you can take out or how much, that will force nursing schools to decrease their tuition. That's the ultimate thought. I don't know if it's going to work. We don't have any proof that it's working. But that
So,
is a
well,
scary place to be. Hold on. That is a very scary place to be, mainly because we don't like they kind of already started this process already. They say that based off of the statistics of nursing students and when they graduate, they say the majority of them already borrow under this cap anyway, which is going to be 20,500. They said on average, most nursing students borrow less than that amount. To you, go ahead.
20,500
That is going to be the new proposed cap per year.
for 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 nursing students specifically,
Yes, this is what they're proposing.
not college students.
Nursing students.
So I guess herein lies my question, because I did hear that. I heard that as well, right? That if you go into, these professions, that what's supposed to happen is that colleges are then going to decrease their tuition, which I'm going to say that I've never seen colleges actually decrease anything, much less tuition, not fees, not dorm fees, nothing, not graduation fees, nothing. My second question is, so if I go to the same college as an engineering student, you're saying that I will have lower tuition than the engineering student, than the art history major, than the underwater basket weaving student. Is that what they're trying to say?
So that's the part that I'm trying to figure out right now. I don't know the definitive answer because when you're going to nursing school, you're not going to nursing school per se with college,
It's not a
college students
technical
who,
school.
well, what I'm saying is like let's say, for example, you went to Pace, right? I went to Lehigh, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if they had a nursing program if you're considered in the same tier as if someone who's trying to get a liberal arts degree or an engineering degree. I don't know about that. But we do know that if you're trying to get a nursing degree, they're capping you at 20,500 per year. The thing that and I agree with you, I've never seen that occur. I don't think we have any proof that that schools will decrease their tuition. I understand where they're getting to. I don't think that they're being realistic, and I don't know if this is really um, if this is a real, like, this is what they're trying to do. If you're a nursing student, you're listening right now, I think a lot of them have been more focused on they're more focused on worth. Like, this is my worth, when
Mm-hmm.
it's not really
Right.
about your worth. This is about policy, right? And this is about the downstream effects of, these effects on policy and how it affects your ability to get loans. So I think they're
Right.
focusing too much. I think the future students are focusing a little bit too much on, well, we're worth more than this. And like, this is not about that. This is bureaucracy. And the administration knows how to play chess. And they think that by playing this chess move, it'll force schools to decrease their tuition. My concern is that in the meantime, while it may take several years for them to decrease tuition, if that even occurs, there's going to be a lot of gatekeeping happening, right? Just like we talked about in previous episodes, you're going to have a lot more students who are going to have to go to private loans and be able to finish their education or at least start their education, right? And we already have a nursing shortage. So now you have a nursing shortage with no major cap. Now you throw in a cap, and in my opinion, you're probably going to make the nursing shortage even worse, right? So, go ahead, chime on in. You seem like you want to say something.
Yeah, so a quick Google search. Now I can't say that this is 100% true, but a quick Google search says that nursing programs tend to have higher tuition than your general tuition for college. And that's often because, in their last 2 years of school, right? I had a really good friend actually in college with me, and she was a nursing student. And at, the last 2 years of college, if you will, for nursing students tends to be their clinicals, right? Their clinical rotations. And so that makes sense that there would be a significant increase in costs for these students, because now you're probably having to cover some sort of insurance for these students to go out and kind of mingle with patients, if you will, right? Interact with patients. So the cost is actually higher, right? So to answer my own question based on this, then yes, the tuition is going to be different, maybe not less, but currently it seems that the tuition is different, i.e. higher than your average, art history major, theater major, underwater basket weaving major, right? So I guess I'm not clear on how nursing programs are supposed to decrease their tuition when they technically have higher costs to be able to get students through the program. As a pre-med, right? You and I were both pre-med science majors. We did not have the we didn't have the additional cost that comes with interacting with patients, right? So I'm not quite sure how that's supposed to happen.
Wait,
Now,
which point are you talking about? Which point are you talking about? What are you talking about? In
I'm, I'm,
college?
I'm, yeah, in college.
Yeah.
In college,
Wait.
you don't have to interact with patients as a pre-med student. It's not compulsory, right?
Well, the education is different, though. Right? The
But
education is
that's what I'm
different.
saying.
You're not getting
But
taught
that's
by professors
by
who are.
physicians.
Well, it's not even just physicians, right? You're not getting taught by PhDs and so forth who are adept at a medical school curriculum. You're just being
Right, but
taught
that's
by a PhD. Yeah.
right, but that's exactly what I'm saying is that there is a higher cost. It makes sense that nursing programs have a higher cost
Does it
because
really?
you're than your regular college.
Well, how about this? If we
No,
were
hold on a
to go,
second. Wait.
but I'm listening to answering your question. Like we do
Okay.
believe that there's an inflation issue, right?
I believe that.
So
I'm
what I'm
saying
saying is,
outside of
what I'm saying,
inflation.
I get what you're saying. Okay, go ahead, please, go ahead. I don't want to go in
I'm
circles
saying
if we.
I'm saying outside of inflation, if we had to cost for cost, potentially figure out what the cost is for a nursing student to complete college versus a pre-med to finish college, who do we think will have the higher cost?
See, I actually tend to think about it differently. Like it's
Okay.
already known when you go to college, like you're going to college and let's say you want to major in pre-med. I know not all my tuition dollars is going to that pre-med department. I know the significant portion of my monies is going into a pool to pay all of the professors. I know that
Mm,
a significant portion of my money is going to pay for on-campus housing and the cafeteria and the sports team and all these
yeah.
different things. Whereas when you go to, let's say you go to specifically a nursing school by itself, or if you go to a med school by itself, it's just med school. There's no team there. There's a cafeteria, but it's not anywhere near the cafeteria that you would see at a university. It's like for me, I would just think that paying for a med school or the operations of a med school by itself or the operations of a nursing school by itself would be far less than the entire budget for an entire college or university that offers multiple degrees. Don't you think?
I I so you're saying that because you're saying there should be an offset.
Yeah, I'm just
There should be
saying
an
it's just more. People are expected to be more expensive because they feel like you're going to get paid more, and it's like, well, that shouldn't be the case. It should just be, well, how
No,
much does it
hold
cost
on. We're
to
mixing
give
up a
them
lot of
education?
things. Wait,
No, I'm
we're
saying the
mixing up.
tuition. You're saying tuition is higher, right? Tuition is higher. Tuition is higher. Well, it is. Tuition is just as much or higher for a nursing degree than someone who's getting an undergrad, right? I think
Mhm.
that assumption is based on the fact that you expect to be making a lot of money as a nurse. Whereas I'm saying if we really
Mm.
go down pound for pound, what as an undergrad, I'm not just paying like if it's $50,000 to go to the school that I went to, I know that it doesn't cost $50,000 to get a pre-med degree. I know that the significant portion of my money is going to the budget of the entire university and so forth,
Mhm.
right? So I should not expect to pay $50,000. Like I'd be pissed if I had to pay $50,000 for nursing school because I'm like, well, where's my money going, right? Like it didn't cost this much 20 years ago. Why does it cost this much now? right? And I think that's one of the main complaints of people in general about education. And I think that's where the administration is trying. They're using that argument. I don't know if it's a full-hearted effort though, but basically what they're trying to say is like, yo, you guys are just colleges and universities are just increasing tuition only because they know that students can get a loan. That's what they're saying. So they're saying if we
So,
take away your ability to get a loan, will that force the schools to either decrease the tuition or keep it stable? I'm not saying I think it's going to work, but I think that's the rationale that they're using.
well, but so then that goes back to my question, right? If you are going to decrease the amount of student loans given to those students in particular, and you think that it's going to decrease the tuition of those students in particular, then let's say the first 2 years of college for your nursing students looks very similar to any other student going to college, right? They have to take their, core classes, then they start into their major classes, right? That they have to sit in the classroom. So are we saying that in the first 2 years, let's say my tuition is $30,000 for, this school's tuition is $30,000, right? Are we saying that everybody else's tuition is going to be $30,000, but the nursing students' tuition is going to be $15,000 for the first
I,
2 years? Like what?
I don't know.
I don't even
That's a good question.
understand how.
I think for the folks
Right.
who I think for the folks who are listening right now, if you went through an accelerated program, right? So for example, if you went to college and then you went to those college programs that when you get into college, then you're going to go into medical school that's already set up, or same thing with
Yeah, the
nursing.
7-year
They even have the
programs.
same
Yeah.
thing for PAs also. I'm really interested because I want to know, like, usually for those programs, like the first 2 years, whether it's PA, nursing, or even MD, you're basically in an undergrad curriculum. So the question is, are those 2 years of tuition, is it similar to a regular undergrad's tuition? And does it go up once they start taking those grad level courses, nursing, PA, or even MD, DO? Does it go up
It
once you
could.
start taking these? Right. That's what
It
I
could.
want
It
someone. If
certainly
you're
could.
listening, I want you to let us know, because that's another bit of information that would help kind of clarify this up. But before we go into a rabbit hole, because there's a lot of conundrums that we don't know, but we do know that people who are trying to get into school right now, particularly people who, don't come from trust funds, you know what I'm talking about. People who come from certain demographics who already were going to use loans, right? Who were going to use loans to get through. This is just another hurdle, right? So, we're talking about getting private loans. And I think that where the general public may be like, well, come on now. Like, if you really want to get it, go and get it. The problem is remember, private loans are not eligible for PSLF. Private
Mm-hmm.
loans, there's a lot of different benefits that you get when you take out a federal student loan. When you take out a private loan, it's way more stringent. You may not have the credit to get it. They want their money quick. The interest rates might be higher. All of these different things. And you already know the number one complaint that a lot of people have when they're in the hospital or when they go to the ED is, why does it take so long for me to get seen? A lot of times it's not the physician, it's not the PA, it's not the nurse practitioner who's there. They're there. It's just that you don't have enough rooms to get these people in, right? There's not enough nurses to open up more rooms. You go upstairs, there's patients in the ED who have already been admitted,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they can't get to the upstairs because there's not enough nurses upstairs
Mm-hmm.
to take care of these patients. So as a result, there's
Yeah.
more people in the waiting rooms. So you already have a nursing shortage right now. Imagine what this will do on top of that. So
So I'm going to say this, that I don't know I don't know at any point in time when any decision has been made by the government such that anyone on the end of that decision would end up making less money. There is usually
what do you
some
mean?
sort
Explain.
of, in other words, this legislation, right? So we've heard, this is the argument. that this legislation is coming into play so that colleges decrease their tuition, i.e., make less money.
Yes.
I've never heard of regulation where any entity at the end of that regulation ends up losing money. So there is only one thing that this legislation could do. It is to allow people to make more money. And that's why I'm glad you brought up the thing about taking out private loans, because many students who go to school don't necessarily have to take out a large portion of private loans. Most of it is government funding, federal, Stafford, unsubsidized, subsidized. Parent Plus loan might factor into that.
Yeah.
Which
did you take out Parent Plus loans? Did your parents ever take out Plus loans for undergrad or for med school?
For undergrad.
Dude, can you do it for med school?
I don't know. I can't
remember.
But definitely for undergrad.
My parents took out for Plus loans. Oh yeah.
So
shout out to the parents and their credit scores.
The only other thing left, right? The only other thing left is the private loans.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like, well,
they getting
definitely
happy.
Colleges are definitely not lowering their tuition. They're just not. They're just going to be like, well, if you can't go,
I need you to be more optimistic, babe. I need you to be more optimistic. Come on.
Okay, that's cute, but colleges are not going to lower their tuition, because now you got to remember, it costs something. It costs something to run a college. Now all of a sudden you're going to decrease. That's like, honestly, that's like being demoted at your job. While you have a mortgage, you have a gas bill, you have electricity, you have X, Y, and Z. You think the mortgage company is going to be like, well, since you got demoted, we're just going to reduce your mortgage for you. Nah, bruh.
Yeah.
That's not the way that happens. They're not going to decrease the cost of your house for you. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I can't remember, folks. I can't remember the episode that we did it, but recently we went over some of the resources that med students can use to find out alternative ways to finance education. Because I'm telling you, obviously with college not backing down, you're going to exhaust a lot of those funds in college. Then you throw on top of that a nursing degree on top of that. So you just got to be ready. You got to be smart. You got to make sure mom Dukes, dad Dukes got good credit, auntie, whatever. You may have to do some hard lending.
Start getting them scholarships.
You might have to do an all-in-one loan. All of these different things, right? You might have to do to make sure that you're ready to pay for this education that you really want. And hey, elections have consequences. That's what I say.
Let me say that in the short run, that is the answer, right? In the short run, that is the answer. But I'm going to say that those of you who are going to college now, if this is not a wake-up call for potentially what you are going to encounter when your children get to college, which may be this or maybe even worse, I'm telling y'all right now, if you're going to college, if you happen to get through, caps and all, if you happen to get through, the importance of financial literacy, understanding how money works, understanding how to use your money so that it works for you and your family and your children, beyond just, I'm going to get this house and I'm going to get this car and you can get all this stuff. But at the end of the day, if you want to have generationally your family be part of the legacy of people who go to college, get professional degrees, if that is your desire, I'm going to tell you right now, you better start really, really, really thinking about how money works and not just acquiring things because perhaps, like me, you didn't necessarily grow up with all the luxuries in life. So.
And that being said, hey guys, make sure you check out all the resources that are available because you're going to need it. So, whether it's private loans or learning how to decrease the amount of student loans that you're taking in college, this is real. This is real. This is going to hit you now. I remember the days of, just take a loan, you'll be all right. Yeah, you're going to have to
It's
think
over.
twice, three
Oh my
times,
God.
4 times before you take out that loan because it may catch up to you 5 years, 7 years down the line. So with that being said, let's change directions. Right now, we're going to jump into Wale's new album, Everything is a Lot. So, Dr. Renee, I don't know about you, but me, I listen to music while I'm operating, definitely on elective cases or semi-elective cases. You know, if there's a gunshot wound to the belly or what have you, I ain't got time, nobody has time for that. Yo, I'm bleeding. Hold on a second, yo. Let me put on my Spotify.
Put my playlist.
Let it load up.
Put my playlist.
Hold up. Put the finger right here where on the spigot where it's bleeding. Make sure you log in. Swipe left. You telling the nurse. Swipe right. Swipe left. Nah, we're not doing that. But on my semi-elective cases and elective cases, I play music. I make sure that it's the non-explicit version because you know why I don't like. You just know why. I'm not getting into it. But Wale.
You don't know who's in the OR. Be like, this is not a sing-along, y'all.
This is not a sing-along. You can't say everything, everybody. And I do believe if they sing along, that's your fault for playing that, not their fault.
That's
right. How I feel.
That's
how I feel.
right.
And if anybody wants to at me, come at me. But if they say something that offends you and they just were, and that was part of the lyrics, that's your bad. You shouldn't have played it. And that's why I played a non-explicit version because I don't feel like snuffing somebody in the operating room. So I just avoid that conflict and don't play it. You play music?
Don't play it in mixed company.
Yeah, you play music?
I'm doing C-sections. Most of my surgeries are not elective.
So you don't want the patient listening?
Well, my patients are awake, first of all.
That's what I said. Right? You don't want them listening? I know they're awake.
Yeah,
you don't want to play compa?
I think they're there to enjoy the delivery of their baby, not to listen to my music.
Well, you make it a pleasant experience for them.
No, well, I don't know what music they like, and I'm not about to take requests. I ain't no damn DJ. I'm a DO, not a DJ. Okay.
Ooh. Well, your boy, I have a list that I've been listening to since 2014. I update it all the time. But for this topic, Wale's album just came out. Everything is a Lot. I don't know, Nene, if you're familiar with Wale. Nigerian.
I've heard of Wale, but I don't know that I couldn't name a Wale song, but that doesn't mean I don't know one.
You're living in a fantasy, talking about something that it means to me.
You know
baby, what? My lady. Hey, can't you see? Talking about eternity.
Listen,
you never heard that song?
Wale sings that song?
No, he doesn't. I sing it. Now, what you gonna say now? I'm 10 steps ahead of you on a joke. I sing it. What? All right, listen.
Wale sang that song. Let him sing
Wale
it.
came out with a new album. It's great. Listen, guys, this is a great album. Great album. Smooth vibe. 2024 to 20. Excuse me. Let me clarify. Late 2024 up until now has been a great year for music. We've actually had rappers who are rapping, right? Not like characters who just want to rap, right? I'm talking about the Cardi B's. I'm talking about all those. Y'all know who I'm talking about. They ain't rapping, right? We talking about real rappers who are introspective, people who know lyrics, people who understand it's not just about a hook. Right? So we started out with GNX. We got into the Clips. We got into Tyler, the Creator. And now we talking about Wale. Amazing case, amazing album. This is great for your long cases. There's no chaos in this. It doesn't go up and down. It's just really smooth vibes. And, for me, I don't know about you. I love it when toxicity, I love it when strife hits my artists because I feel like, when they're going through a divorce or someone cheats on them or if they got some type of drug habit or something like that, they make great music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that
and
is
I love
sick.
This.
That in itself is toxic.
Listen, I'm being honest. You don't think people think that about us? If we were going through some issues, you don't think we'd make a better podcast? I think so, babe. I do.
Okay, I thought you was going to be talking about we make better doctors. I'm like, I think people want their doctors happy all the time. Not too happy like cocaine happy, but happy all the time.
Everybody knows when artists, particularly musicians, are going through some shit. Look, we watched the thing on, was it Jean-Michel Basquiat?
Yeah.
Did I say it right? Is it Jean-Michel?
Jean-Michel.
Oh, Jean-Michel. Jean-Michel, what do you call it? Basquiat. Yo, the man had issues.
Say it.
Jean-Michel Basquiat. Yo, this guy was talented, amazing, but he had a you know what type issue and stuff. Chaos, right?
Yes.
But anyway, back to this album. It's not chaotic. This is a vibe. He's going through something. He's letting you know about it. It's great. I think this is a good album for OR. Hold on. This is a great album for clinics. As long as you play the non-explicit version, you're gonna be all right. So go cop that album, yo. Everything is okay.
Yo,
everything's a lot. Go ahead.
You just name dropped Cardi B as basically not really
let me
rapping.
Be careful.
You and
Alfred,
that's what I was gonna say.
Bleep that out. Alfred, bleep that out because Cardi B be coming for people, yo.
Let me get that Addy, yo. She want that Addy.
She coming for us.
Okay.
I mean, Cardi B. Listen, Cardi B knows. She knows. Stop playing. Hey, Cardi B, I drive a Lucid, and I be in the ER. You know where to find me.
Oh, Lord. Dr. Love is just going to be like, yo, we're going to have to start paying him for basically name dropping him.
I ain't paying shit. He don't come on the show. He needs to come on the show more. But guys, go ahead and check out that album. Listen, it's for everybody. If you're a real fan of hip hop, if you're a real fan of emotion in hip hop, if you're a real fan of lyricism, themes, of just in general getting an album and going through an experience as opposed to just listening for what's going to end up on the radio, this album is for you. It's a good one. Wale, I think without getting too much into the weeds, I really like Wale because I think he opens up about his struggles with really putting a lot of work into all of his albums and only getting a certain amount of success. And he's very open about that on podcasts, on interviews. And he's like, look, I put in all this work. I rap about A, I rap about B. I work with this producer. It takes me a while to put this stuff out. And I'm only seeing this type of success. Whereas people who are less talented than me, and they talk about things that are extremely superficial, they get way more engagement. They get paid way more. I understand where he's coming from, and I think that's a struggle.
What
I think
number
a lot of
album
artists,
is this for him?
Oh, I think this is like number 10. Hold on, let me look it up. Go ahead. This is number 9 or number 10 for him.
Well, I mean, that can be frustrating, right? To see people who are... So there's a difference, I think, right? Based on what you just said, he expressed. I think majority of people are looking for entertainment. They're not necessarily looking for intellectual entertainment, right? I'll give you an example. So my niece she's kind of watching these old old sitcoms from back in like the 90s and, early 2000s. And she recently fell upon Frasier. Right? Which I know you're always like, but you never watched Frasier, so you wouldn't know. But she fell upon Frasier and she's like, oh my gosh, it's such a funny show. Right? Now, my niece is mid-20s, right? So she was just a little girl when Frasier was on TV. But what she likes about it is that there's this, there's comedy. There's just like this level of comedy, but then there's this kind of intellectual layer on the comedy that you have, right? It's not buffoonery necessarily. It's not just, superficial jokes, but there's this layer of intellect that you have to understand in order to appreciate some of the quips and, quirks that they have on the show. And I think that this is the same thing that Wale is talking about, is that, listen, a lot of people want to be entertained and they're willing to pay for that. But I don't think that there are many people who want the depth, right, that he might be offering. Because now it's like, well, you want me to be in contact with my either intellect or my emotions, on a deep level. And I don't want that. I just want to shake my butt in a club and be done.
Yeah, it's tough. I hear what you're saying. When you're in the entertainment business, you get paid based off of what the public wants. Right?
How many has to shake?
Right. Unfortunately, right? So it's like a lot of them will say, well, I just want to do it for the artwork and I just want to do it for this. That's great. But in essence, because because artwork is so subjective, music is so subjective, the very thing that sometimes we tell people to ignore, it's like, but if you're making music that nobody wants to listen to, or a significant amount of people don't want to consume, is it valuable? I hate to use that term. I think that's really strong.
Yeah, I think
actually.
valuable isn't the word, but
Yeah.
is it money making?
Right.
Right.
Because I
That's
mean,
the
there's
question.
been plenty of albums that he's done that I'm like, oh man, this is a really good album. It's not like great, but it's a good album. People don't listen to. I think obviously you have, even within the medicine field, right? You have some doctors who are really good at social media, and then you have doctors who are not good at social media, but they still want their craft to speak for itself, and they're finding it hard now. You see that on Reddit. You see that in other forums where people say, "Well, look, for example, a plastic surgeon or a dermatologist. It's almost like it's required that you have an Instagram page or that you have some type of presence on social media so that you can attract a certain type of clientele. If you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult for you to compete, particularly with other plastic surgeons, dermatologists, things of that ilk who are in your area, right? It's really tough. So, I don't know. But it's a good album overall. Something that I definitely recommend if you're willing to play that in your OR. Everybody will have a great time listening to this. If you want to play this in the background in your clinic, it's a good
Non-explicit
good
version.
Not explicit. Hey, let's quickly throw in. This is something that's really quick. Let's talk about HSA contributions. That's right. That's your health savings account contributions. That's what I have on my list. This episode's coming out in December. This is the last month for you to make your HSA contributions. We like health savings accounts, and that's related to our high deductible health plan. So we get our health care through Obamacare, and we are fairly healthy. I'd say we're actually very healthy. We don't utilize the healthcare system that much. So as a result, our premiums are very low. But if we were to utilize the healthcare system significantly, we would incur a lot of out-of-pocket costs. So far, we haven't seen that so far. In exchange for that, that gives us access to an account called the health savings account. What that is, you open up an account with like Fidelity, Vanguard, whoever else has it. I can't remember. Some of them, you guys may have it at your respective hospitals, at your human resources department. And people like these accounts because it helps lower your taxable account. If you put like $1 in, it lowers your taxable account income by that amount. Your money grows tax-free, right? So as you put money in and it's growing, as it's invested in different types of bonds and stocks and ETFs and so forth, it grows tax-free. And then if you need to use it for, whatever it may be, Renee wants, Renee, whatever she wants.
What does she want now?
What
she want now?
But see, you see how it makes compelling. You see how that makes compelling, like a podcast. Like I could just be like, "Yo, Renee just wants this," and you'd be like, "What do you want?" Remember you wanted the BBL?
I want to know. Okay, because I need one. Right.
Yo, Renee getting cocky.
Oh, please, honey. I don't need no BBL.
Anyway, guys, withdrawals for things like BBLs for Renee,
I'm
they gave you a refund.
Of the Dahomey, okay?
Look it up, guys. Look it up. That's tax-free, guys. That's tax-free, right? So it's a really good tax vehicle for if you are a resident right now, if you are finishing up residency, it's a good place to put some money away after you've done everything. I'm talking about their emergency funds. I'm talking about, working on your budgeting for, the year, all those different things. If you have a little bit of some cash left over and you don't have many expenditures in the healthcare system, maybe worth it to get a HSA. But we made our last one 2 days ago. So we went to the maximum. I think the maximum was like $7,300. And what we're doing with it is I'm investing it in FZROX. FZROX. So that means we have it with Fidelity, and it's in a, what do you call that? ETF index fund. And it's just investing for us, and we're doing well right now.
Excellent. So very quickly, tell folks the difference, right? Because they may be like, well, I have an FSA.
So FSA is similar. It's just that at the end of the year, whatever money, let's say you have $5 in your FSA and $5 in your HSA. If by the end of the year you don't use that $5 in your FSA, that money gone. They got your money.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the HSA, you can keep $5 in this year, 20 years from now,
Indefinitely.
it's still your money, But in essence, similar, but the FSA is mainly at your job, and you have to use it all in a year. So just make sure you know the difference, because you don't want to lose your money.
Correct.
We just got to finish talking about Wale's new album, as well as why you need to put, or at least make sure you put in a contribution this last December, because this is going to be the last time you can contribute. Right now, let's jump into our house that we live in right now.
Your contribution into an HSA.
Oh, what'd I say?
You just said make a contribution.
Make a contribution to your HSA,
Make a contribution to Docs Outside the Box podcast. That
would be nice. Alfred, put down our Cash App right there.
Bless my Cash App.
Mm-hmm. So we got a house. In essence, it's a duplex. It's a house. I don't know how many years ago that this house was built in the 1920s. But anyway, it's a house that sometime, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, someone decided to, cut it up and make it into a 2-family. And so when we purchased it, we also inherited a tenant, a great tenant. And we like it because, they pay us rent. And we use that rent to pay off a significant portion of the mortgage. But there are some expectations that come along with it, right? We are landlords now. There are things that we got to take care of. If, there's a leak, we got to take care of that. If the heat don't work, we got to take care of that. If the refrigerator don't work, we got to take care of that. And as a matter of fact, all of those different things have happened in some form or fashion, right? So what we're doing right now is upstairs kitchen hasn't been updated. I don't think it's ever been updated. And the neighborhood that we live in is right along a train line. And as a result, anybody who knows Jersey and neighborhoods that are along train lines, it's easy access to New York. So there's a significant amount of new apartments that are growing in our neighborhood or in the periphery of our neighborhood. And we are upgrading the kitchen just to make sure that we're kind of keeping up with what everybody else has or expects, just in case something were to happen and our tenant were to leave. If we were to get a new tenant, at least we don't have to worry about the kitchen, so to speak. So one of the things that we're doing is, we're changing the floors, taking out the cabinets, putting in new cabinets. We're moving the washer and dryer that usually is in the basement that the tenant uses, and we're moving that into their suite. So that is called, an in-suite washer and dryer, so they don't need to go downstairs or outside of their apartment. Putting in some new built-ins. It's a lot, but I feel comfortable about this.
It's a big project. Yeah.
It's a big project.
It's a
if just so people know, so based off of the square footage of their portion of the house in comparison to ours, it's roughly about 21%, right, that they occupy. So because this is a rental, 21% of everything, in essence, is in essence treated like a business or a business expense, right? So 21% of the mortgage interest is considered tax deductible. 21% of the electric bill or anything that's shared between us is tax deductible, right? But because we're doing repairs as well as making some capital expenditures like a new washer machine and dryer, that's a little bit more of a complex tax talk. But in essence, this whole project is tax deductible because this is a business expense. Oh, did you freeze?
No, I didn't freeze.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you laughing at?
No, I'm just listening to you. I know how you like to keep money in your pocket.
Hell yeah, I like to keep money in my pocket. Who doesn't? Guys, if you're listening right now and you like money to flow, actually, there are people who like to do that. Let's not front. There are people right now who got Lucids. There are people right now who got shoe addictions.
You leave him alone?
There's people who got whiskey addictions. There's people who got a whole bunch of different things going on.
So you're just going to call out all your friends? You just calling out all your friends?
No, I'm not. I love everybody. What's my addiction?
One shall stand, one shall fall.
What is he doing?
What's my spending
Some people
addiction?
got exercise addictions. Exercise.
I have high blood pressure in my family, and I also have diabetes in my
Who
family.
doesn't?
And
Who
I
doesn't?
have a letter
Take
of
a
necessity from
number.
my doctor. Excuse me. I have letter of necessity from my doctor saying that that is for the prevention of that. So that makes my membership to future.com. That makes my purchase of barbells, adjustable dumbbells, and whatever other gym equipment that I have tax deductible if I need to take it out with my HSA. Another benefit of the HSA. See, I keep it here. Boom. I keep it here. If I'm going to spend something, it's going to be spent smart. You know what I'm saying?
Because everybody know, Nee Darko like to keep his money in his pocket.
I like to spend smart.
You don't like to spend no money.
I like to spend
you don't
smart.
Like to spend. No, you don't like to spend. But if you have to spend, this is you. This is your slogan. I don't like to spend money. But when I do, I spend it smart.
Well, when you come from the
your
gutter,
slogan.
When you come from the gutter, this is what you do.
Who
now,
come from
we
the
all
gutter,
can't grow up in Park Slope, Gowanus. You know what I'm saying? We all can't grow up from that part of Brooklyn, all right?
I guess we can, because I sure didn't.
You sure? Let me check your Addy.
I'm sure.
Let me check your Addy.
I'm sure.
Let me check your Addy. Everybody, go ahead. Tell us your Addy so we can put it in Zillow. Everybody, put it in Zillow.
Cardi B, this way he go to do locums.
Yeah, but it's look, let's get serious. But it's I mean, you think about it now, right? That's basically another business upstairs. That's another business, right? Podcasting business, doctor business, landlord business. Don't forget the other landlord business that we have in Pennsylvania. So it's a process. You have to be we're learning right now, right? Because now you are in essence the property manager for upstairs as well as a property manager for the other properties. Like you have to be way more organized. You have to keep receipts. The bookkeeping has to be up to date. You know, you got a phone number a fake phone number so that people don't have your real number.
A fake phone
you know
number?
What I'm saying? You got a burner phone. This is why I don't trust you sometimes. I'm like, yo, where's that flip phone at? Where you put that flip phone at? I know you got a flip phone. Who you talking to?
It's a Google Voice, babe. Relax yourself.
You got Star Treks.
No, I am.
Star Treks.
Anyway.
What's up?
So, So I am managing the properties at this point, keeping reps, or essentially what they call a real estate professional status. So I'm keeping hours, tracking how much time I'm spending on real estate, because then we can essentially use that against our income for taxes, and offset our income for taxes. So it'll be a very interesting year. 2026 is going to be a very interesting year, because once I hit 720 hours, then I will officially have hit rep status. So I wonder what that's going to make our income taxes look like.
Yeah, I think
year.
Well, obviously at the end of next year, that's what we will see it, So I think this serves a bunch of different things, right? It hedges our bets, right? Like the first thing for me is like, look, like you said, like I don't want to pay the entire mortgage by myself. So if I could have somebody else who lives upstairs, who's quiet, who's okay with our kids being noisy as hell, and pays the rent on time, why not? And it takes care of a significant portion of the mortgage. Why not? So, but let's be honest, we're providing a service to that person, right? This is transactional. We're providing a service, and as a result, we get to be smart and efficient, IRS-wise, tax-wise, whichever way you want to look at it. We're trying to be smart to make sure that, we're using that extra income in a way to help us pay off this house in an efficient manner, to help our taxes be paid off. And then we also want our kids to also see that, listen, like, it's not just like you just mentioned before, you got to go to college to make money. It's like, no, you can start a business just based off of what you have. Like you have to purchase something, or you need to own something, whatever it may be. It could be IP, it could be a property, but you need to be able to own something that people will pay you to use, to rent, and so forth. Yeah. So it's hella important for me in multiple aspects. From a family perspective, I want the kids to see that also. Yeah. I want them to see my wife. I want them to see my queen, my wife. You know what I'm saying?
Really,
my
Nee?
be making it work. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like.
You're a queen? Really? Okay, Kawhi.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. So hopefully it'll take about 10 days. And that's another thing, you're doing 10 days of renovations. The other thing that you got to think about
Hmm.
is, well, are you going to have your tenant move out during this time while you're fixing the kitchen? That
Yeah,
means they can't get
right.
access to the kitchen. They can't get to the fridge. What do you do in that situation? So what we
Right.
wanted to do is offer a hotel stay during those 10 days, like an extended stay, so that they could be in a place where, they're comfortable. They don't have to hear the noise. Like right now, I don't know if the audience can hear, but there's a saw that's going off upstairs. They don't have to hear that all day. And then, in those extended stays, they got stoves, they got, refrigerators and so forth. So that's just one thing to consider also. But, it's
Hmm.
tough.
Yeah,
It's not just
and that's
easy
usually
peasy.
optional. Yeah, unless it poses a danger to the actual tenant, then that really is optional for the tenant to decide to stay or to move out for the time of the renovation, for duration of the renovation. But yeah, I mean, it's been a very interesting um it's been very interesting taking over as like the property manager, like the actual landlord at this point, not just in name, not, you don't just own it and then pay somebody to manage it. It's been very interesting. The other property that we have, the multi-unit property that we have, we've talked about before having a property manager, and that property we had to take away from the property manager. And I think that's a
They on
discussion for
some
another
bullshit.
day.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I think that's a discussion for another day because I think, to unpack that, we'll need a much more time. But I will just tell you that it's very interesting taking over as a property manager and having to deal with tenants one on one, having to kind of almost plan what to do, like what the next steps are going to be, like 3 steps ahead, and then dealing with, vendors, establishing relationships with vendors and figuring out, okay, what do I want a vendor to actually do versus what I can do myself.
But this is passive
So
income though.
it is. It's supposed to be.
That shit ain't passive. That's the other thing. It's like, look, that there's a lot of active work that we're going to have to put in, right, before it gets to that quote unquote
Mhm.
passive level. But even at
Yeah,
that point, I cannot envision a point where you're not putting any type of work into,
yeah, yeah.
this thing.
I mean, this ain't the stock market, right? Like, this is not the stock market where you just put your money in and just wait for it to grow, wait for something to happen. It's not.
Mm.
So, passive,
Well,
semi-passive. I'd say semi-passive.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even things like making sure that the washer dryer that we get for upstairs is a gas one, because if
Mm-hmm.
we get electric is a cheaper washer dryer, right? Or excuse
Right.
me, the dryer component is overall is cheaper if you get an
Mm-hmm.
electric one, but it's going to drive up the tenant's costs. So next,
Right.
several months from now, they're going to be yelling at you, yo, my electric bill goes through the roof. Like you did this.
Right. Yeah.
But at least if we stay gas, it's more of an expenditure right now, but at least it's efficient. So these are
Right.
things that we're just thinking about. Even when you purchase the dryer, right? It's like, well, for us, we don't
Mm-hmm.
really believe in extended warranties. But because
Right.
we are not going to be using it, I don't know what kind of crazy stuff
Yeah.
they're going to do to it. I got to get one. I think it's feasible
Mm-hmm.
or it makes sense to get one. So these are just things that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got to think about. We'll keep you guys updated. But hopefully by the end, we'll take some pictures and put it on on a future episode and let people know how that's going. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really important to kind of discuss what we're going through, and I think this is really different than even our property in Pennsylvania, mainly because the person is living above us, right?
Right.
So we get to hear those complaints while you're cooking dinner, or you're outside with the kids and he pulls up into the driveway. Like these are things you can't run away from, so to speak, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's
If there's
just it's
something that
something to
needs to
consider.
be addressed, it needs to be addressed like in that moment,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So, and not to mention something that we talk about all the time, between us is that it is very important, at least for me, having grown up in a duplex, that my parents owned. It is very
Told
important.
y'all in Park Slope. Told y'all. Yo, you
East
rich,
New York.
yo. You was rich, yo.
I know
Keep
you're
going.
not talking. You grew up in a mansion. What are you
Yo, in
talking about?
Irvington.
Yeah, but it was still a mansion.
First of all, stop playing. It was a house. It wasn't a mansion.
It's
Okay.
a mansion. How many bedrooms you got? How many bedrooms did you have?
4.
Okay. 4.
And 1 full bath.
Did you have an attic?
Yeah, we did. That's not a room.
Excuse me. Did you have an attic crawl space or a full blown Brady Bunch? Greg is gonna move upstairs.
Yeah,
attic.
we had a full attic.
Thank you.
This ain't
Thank
Brooklyn.
you. Thank you. Exactly.
You know how it goes. But anyway, listen, let's get into our next
that all
topic.
bougie.
All right, let's get into our next
finish
topic.
I didn't finish. I didn't finish.
I got to go get the kids, so you got to keep it moving.
I know. I didn't finish my point, though. My point was that it is very important if you're going to live in a duplex, if you are going to live in that duplex with your tenant, make sure that you understand that the peace that you get from living is going to be more important than anything else, any money collected, any money saved, any whatever. The peace that you get is going to be the most important thing. And that's all I had to say about that.
All right, so for y'all who don't understand riddles, basically what she's saying is if you got a good tenant, even though you're not getting as much money as you could get from them, the fact that you just have a good tenant that puts up with certain things and pays on time, like that stuff is great. If you're chasing the dollar, you might like get more money, but you might get a whole bunch of headaches. So let's keep it at that. All right, listen, I got to get these kids, Dr. Renee. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. Right now, we're going to jump into this question from a listener. A great question about how do I know if I'm ready for locums? So here is the question. This is straight up. This is from JA. How do I know if I'm ready for locums? Basically, this person is interested in locums.
Ask a question before?
No, this is somebody different.
Like JA did. Oh, okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I think I might have cut off this question. Let me see. Give me a second. PV, actually. I'm sorry. I put the wrong thing. I want to do locums.
Because I'm like, I know I heard JA before. But
all right. Okay. Mute up. All right. So I want to do locums, but I don't know if I'm ready for the independence. See, this is a key context. How do I know if locums is right for me? PV. So I think that this is a great question. I think there is a little bit of some glossing over that we do on our show. I think a lot of people now who are embracing locums are doing the same thing, but it's hard, right? It's social media. But yeah, locums looks glamorous on Instagram, right? Because we talk about you could travel, you get big checks, you get freedom, you know. But I do want folks to understand that, you know, it's a different way of thinking about things, right? It's, you know, we always talk about like there's the traditional way of doing things and it may come with its inherent risks and so forth, but you know that's a tried and true method. And when you talk about something that's new and non-traditional, there's inherent risks with that, but you don't really see that many people who are actually doing it. And sometimes when they talk about it, they kind of gloss over it to the point where you really don't understand it. So, you know, I think that you got to be confident when you're doing locums. You got to be able to adapt to different structures and different types of environments. And you have to understand self-management, right? So if you're hesitant about that stuff, which for the most part residency has a hard time promoting, I think that's healthy. You know, but it doesn't mean that you still shouldn't do locums because you're looking at 2 people who did locums straight out of our training, right? Not like a year of working someplace and then we did locums, but like, yo, I am done being, you know, I'm done getting didactics or whatever I was doing. And now I'm just going into being a locums. And it was an adjustment, but I'm so happy I did that.
I think it's an adjustment no matter what, right? When you're coming out of residency, being an attending in and of itself is an adjustment. It just is because the buck stops with you no matter what. And so I don't know, did this person say they're coming straight out of training or no?
No,
Didn't
but I'm
say?
assuming based off of, you know how you could tell based off of how people write questions. I think that's what it
Yeah,
is. Let's just
it might
assume
be.
that they are.
Right. If you're coming out of residency, the buck is going to stop with you anyway. You're going to have pretty much complete independence, whether you're a locums or whether you're an employee doc. Like that's just going to be what it is. So whatever pain that you think is going to come that is extra with locums in with respect to the independence of being a doctor is probably the same pain that you're going to have being an employee doc. Now, the scary part that you might be thinking about is, well, am I going to have partners? Right? Am I going to have partners as an employee doc, versus
Right.
as a locums? And honestly, the answer is it depends. It depends. It
What are you, a
depends
lawyer?
on, yeah, it depends.
You've been watching a lot of Judge Judy, huh?
Shout out to James Dockery. It depends.
And James Dockery. Yeah.
But it does depend, right? It depends on the setting that you're in, right? If you're a hospitalist, you may not have somebody right there with you to kind of bounce things off of. But I will tell you that as a hospitalist, and I've been doing hospitalist work for a very long time as an OB hospitalist, there
A
are
real long
usually not
time.
a real long time. There's not a dearth of physicians who you can call on to just bounce a question off of. They usually are like, you know what? If something pops off, just give me a call. I can tell you how things work. Now, that's not something that you want to abuse, but you also wouldn't want to abuse that if you were an employee doc and you were working alongside your partners, all day long because they have work to do too.
Quick
So
question. Quick question. You ever call an attending, like one of your attendings in residency? You ever call them while you're on a locums for a question?
like a former attending?
Yeah. Like you have a
Oh,
clinical
hell yeah.
scenario.
Shout out to Pamela Brug.
Yeah. Shout out to Dr.
Pamela
Okoli.
Brug.
Dr. Okoli, I remember 2014. I called him at like 2:00 in the morning. I don't know where I was. I was like Minnesota or something. I had like a duodenal perforation, but this one was posterior. Most of the time it's in the anterior portion of the duodenum. But this guy, it was in a posterior section of the duodenum, old guy, septic. And I was like, wait, can I fix this the same way? He's like, Dr. Darko, what do you think?
At 2 a.m. He woke up quick too.
He hooked me up. Yo, shout out to him. But I've done it. So we're saying
I've definitely done it.
That's what they're there for. And that's what they sign up for. For me, that's what if you are teaching me in residency, I'm sorry. Particularly if we have an okay relationship, I'm calling you whenever I need to.
We have a mentoring relationship. Yes.
That's it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Answer it.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing
that's what my tuition dollars pay for, right? Right.
Well, no, you don't pay tuition in residency then.
I pay with sweat, blood and sweat.
Okay, great.
Tears. That's what that pays for.
So this is what I would say also is get your thread of colleagues that you feel really comfortable with their decision making. Get yourself like 3, 4, 5 of you who you can at any point in time text and be like, yo, this is what is happening. This is what I'm thinking about doing. Anybody else got any suggestions? Anything I should be looking for? Get your thread, your little text thread, your little WhatsApp thread of docs, colleagues, maybe of different, generations. But definitely get your text threads ready, because then if you need to jump on a call with any 1 or 2 or 3 of them, then at the very least, you have them right at your fingertips.
Yeah,
so that's what I would suggest as well.
I think that's great. Great advice. I would say, listen, the reason we like locums is because you get autonomy, you get flexibility, you get variety, and there's a chance to get financial stability very, very, very quickly. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just me and Dr. Renee who are saying that. There are studies that are out there that basically says physicians with greater control over their schedule and work environment report higher career satisfaction and lower burnout. Key benefits of locums. right? So as we talked about in previous episodes also, this is some data that is not PubMed also, but, locum physicians earn 30 to 40% more per hour, depending on specialty, than employed docs. So there are advantages to doing locums, but obviously it's not like it's not a panacea, right? But you trust me, if you're coming from a residency program, I would fair to say that the majority of residency programs have trained you in whatever specialty that you need, that you're going to go into enough. You just got to make sure it's like The Last Dragon. You know what I'm saying? When Shonuff is holding, Bruce Leroy over the water, he's like, yo, who's the master? And he don't believe it until he's drowning, right? He's like, yo, I can't breathe. And then he starts to see all these different people and all these different experiences. Like, wait, hold up a second. I'm the man, right?
I did this.
You got this. So, PV, you got this, yo. You the man, you the woman, you the master, you got this, right? And there's studies, there's information, you got us to let you know that you can do this. So listen, this is the steps that I would tell you. I got to go to my notes because I got so many things in my mind. I start talking about Bruce Leroy things and, I'm on tangent, so I got to write notes. So I would say this. Listen, if you're scared.
Yet?
If you are nervous, I would say this. Do a short-term trial, right? Do like a 1 to 2 week stint. See how it goes. That's it. Like, remember with locums, like you can get in as quickly as you can get out, right? So if you sign up for an assignment and, they want you to do a certain amount of weeks, you only work what you can do. That's it.
Right.
Get in, you get out.
Exactly.
So I would just say start for 1 to 2 weeks. See how it goes. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, then, go work the employed life. And that's fine also. No shade. And then the other thing is you want to develop a relationship with a solid, reputable locums agency. Check out our show notes. We only work with those type of companies, right? That's super important. And then the other thing, too, that always makes people nervous is malpractice, right? Malpractice. Just make sure that locums company has proper malpractice insurance. Those are really, really big, important things that you need to focus out. So, and then, sometimes some people are like, well, if I go to a different hospital, I got to go to these different EMRs and all the... Look, that's life.
You'll get
keep
it.
a checklist. Just keep a checklist. Keep a black book. Dr. Renee has one.
Get your passwords together.
Keep your passwords together. Your black book and your burner phones. I don't know, Dr. Renee. Says a lot about you. Says a lot about you.
Tito, Jermaine. What does GTD
mean?
Got the draws, okay? Got the draws.
Tommy?
No, but for real, PV, you got this, yo. I would say start short, try it out for a little bit. Make sure you have a good relationship with somebody or with a company that you think you can trust. See how it goes. But I'm going to tell you right now, like, there's going to be a certain level of, like, you should be confident in your skills, or you're going to be forced to. Right? You got to be confident in skills. You may have to go to different hospitals possibly. And look, this is it. The way how things in residency are not often the way how things are going to be as an attending.
Right.
And this might be one of the first steps to kind of making sure that you can handle it from all different ends. And I always say, like, remember when I finished fellowship, I was hella nervous about doing locums. But when I started off doing locums, I was going between 3 to 5 different states. We weren't married. But, the ability for me to work really hard, but also at the same time bring home enough money to help my dad, who had prostate cancer at the time, and pay his bills. Like, here we go, Dad. Paid. You know what I'm saying? And be able to be there for his radiation treatments, right? Was like, that was amazing. I joke, but that's the truth, guys, for real. Like, that was a very serious and scary time for my dad and for our whole family. But when you are 10 years out from it, you get to look back and be like, yo, that was dope. Right? That was dope. I was able to work hard, but also at the same time make my schedule in a way that I was able to support him financially as well as, emotionally, and be there with him. And that took a big jump for me. But that, to be honest with you, at this point, I could say would only have been possible with me doing locums. After about a year and a half of doing that, me and Dr. Renee decided to, be employed for 3 years, and it was okay, but I didn't like it. And it was to the point that even during those 3 years, when I had time off, I still did locums just to keep my foot in the door. So.
Yeah. So if you're ready, if you're ready to be an attending, you're probably ready to be locums.
Yeah. I'd say start small,
Mm-hmm.
You'll learn faster. And then I think you'll just, as you get better and better at this, you'll grow into your freedom,
Yeah.
It's really not about being ready, more so just being willing to get into it.
Right.
So I think that's the key. So
Good
I think
luck.
sometimes
keep us posted.
Yeah, PV, keep us posted. Let us know what's going on. And hey, that's a wrap. We did it, Dr. Renee. It's a wrap.
We did it.
We hit policy, we hit music, we hit taxes, we hit the questions. That's what this show is about. Listen, guys, if you want to hear your question heard on the show, make sure you check out the show notes, the description below. Alfred also put down a text where you can text us and let us know directly about your thoughts, any questions that you have. Remember, I have the answers to everything, all of your questions.
Okay.
I have the answer. Seriously, we've been through it. We're not far. We're not like so old that we can't answer and we don't know what the new generation is going in, but we're that much ahead that we know what pitfalls you need to worry about. And trust me, I know everything.
The answer to everything.
Everything.
There's not anything. You're the master.
Nope.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Listen, if you loved our episode today, make sure you leave a review, hit subscribe, share this episode with someone in medicine who needs it. Until next time, folks, we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Deuces.
Peace.